Welcome back to the Buffalo Lowdown podcast. We've had a couple wins, a couple losses. This loss, it stings, but it also kind of doesn't because it doesn't really affect all that much.
Right.
Just kind of kept you out of the running for the division if you're the Bills. But realistically, were the Dolphins going to beat the Patriots? I don't know, especially with the way they manhandled the Jets last week. So they're riding high at this point in the season, but the Bills fall to the Eagles. It was a close one, 13-12, if I haven't erased that from my memory entirely by this point in the week. But it wasn't great. There was some good, and of course a lot of bad to make it get to that point. The defense was, let's start with the good. The defense was a pillar of hope throughout the entire game. You couldn't have asked for your better defensive play. They held the Philadelphia Eagles in the second half to 17 total yards of offense on 5 offensive possessions, which all ended in punts. So your offense definitely should have been able to take care of business without question. And that's where people going at McDermott, whatever. I'm sorry. This is why he's the head coach. This is why you need a defensive-minded head coach. When your offense isn't in it, your defense kept you in it. And this is a tattered Bills defense, mind you. They're not even healthy.
Far from it.
Like, of the defense performance and just the lack of offense.
It's kind of a revelation, right? The passing defense is taking quite the jump in the second half of the season as opposed to the first half of the season where people are like, wow, we can't stop a nosebleed. I think part of that is Christian Benford starting to play up to his, elite level. It starts with the secondary. The secondary has been phenomenal. Jalen Hurts didn't complete a single pass in the second half, and you still lost the game. How does that happen? Well, it's the offense, and that's kind of what the sentiment has been the entire season is, can you rely on this Bills offense to get you out of the mud and win you games when it matters?
And they've shown they can though, right?
Yeah, right.
Like the Patriots game is one of those games where they turned it on and they were there. Like this was actually a good game for the receiving room, believe it or not. Brandon Cooks actually was able to hang on to a couple deep passes, right? Tyrell Shavers had a crazy grab, and this was in tough conditions for catching.
It was.
Like the
that was
middle
a
of
crazy
monsoon.
catch.
Yeah, this was kind of a awakening performance for this wide receiver room. Just not consistent enough, not enough to get the win, where the defense was, like you said, just absolutely shut down and completely. They didn't score, and that's where. Did you see the video of Sirianni freaking out in the tunnel and all that stuff? I'm sure you did. He did that to the Chiefs fans too, and I remember thinking, this is just weird energy. AJ Brown looked like he was like, dude, just get into the locker room. Like,
he did.
I just don't stop. I don't know. He's always had weird energy for me.
It's like he's claiming this underdog role. Buddy, you won the Super Bowl last year.
You're the Super Bowl favorite. If anything, you're underperforming. You're not an underdog. You're not, an underdog is a scrappy person who was, I guess, thought to be out before they were even in, and they're able to overcome the odds. You've been to 2 Super Bowls, right? With Sirianni was 2, if I'm not mistaken. And you've won 1 and lost 1. So you've appeared twice and won 1 of them. You are not an underdog. You're expected to be doing what you're doing. And not scoring anything in the second half, I'm sorry, that's not really a celebratory, win, in my opinion. If it were me as the coach, I'd be like, thanks for the win, but we've got a lot to figure out here. Their offense is stalled. But anyway, Bills-Eagles, like I said, it doesn't really change all that much other than the Patriots clinched the division, right?
Yep.
Did you see all those videos and stuff of the hat and T-shirts when they were on the bus?
I did. Yep.
Yeah. A lot going on with their team right now. We're not necessarily going to get into some off-the-field stuff, but it'll be interesting to see what the standings end up like. Anything stand out to you in this Bills-Eagles game that really, we talked about the passing offense kind of waking up a little bit and the defense playing well, but is there anything really sticking out to you that's I think this team can win the Super Bowl doing that? Was there anything that screamed at you during this game like that or no?
Yeah. Actually, let me start with a negative real quick because I just don't know how this happens. Last year, we're talking about the Bills' offensive line as potentially one of the best in football. Josh Allen was on the ground a lot on Sunday, and he's been sacked 40 times this year, which is a career high.
40?
It's crazy. It's
nuts. He was sacked 14, I think, in the entirety of last year, I want to say.
Right, my point. And it's just what happened? This is the same unit. Everyone's did Deion Dawkins take a step back? You know what I'm saying? And mind you, we're probably going to lose Connor McGovern next year. We don't have the money to pay him. So Cedric Van Pran Granger is probably going to step in at your center, and you hope he can fill that gap. But right now, Josh Allen doesn't have the time to stick around, and part of that's because no one's getting open downfield. So it's kind of a double issue with the Bills' offense right now, and that's kind of where it starts. Josh was on the floor way too much. He got killed by Jalen Carter that one hit. That's not a recipe to win games. You're going down way too often, and there's just it almost feels like Josh has no confidence in his offensive line right now. He's rolling out almost immediately if it's a clean pocket. Like he just doesn't feel comfortable, and that's the issue. And come playoff time, these good teams have great pass rushers. We saw it with the Texans, and we saw, everybody's got a good pass rusher nowadays. And that's just not a recipe to make a deep run. You got to have a better performance from your offensive line.
I think that's my biggest worry, right? It's you've seen Houston and Philadelphia's defense, like you said, Jalen Carter and those guys is, going to stick a thumb in your eye, essentially, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then a throat chop on the same play. They're scrappy. They're going to get down and dirty. They're a good defensive front. Denver, Houston, like you mentioned, Jacksonville's been playing well.
Mm-hmm.
Even New England, right? Like they have a solid defensive front. Like they're going to have to be better than that. The offensive line, and listen, I understand they've had injury. I understand it's been a little bit different this season, and Alec Anderson's been called upon, and they've done well in their spots. But like you said, it's the same group, 90% of it at least, that's out there, and they're just not getting the production they were last year. So
right.
That's, I guess, my biggest worry. And listen, Josh is the first person I blame in all seriousness for the loss on the Eagles loss, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's taken sacks he shouldn't be. He's been doing that the last couple of weeks. The Browns game, right?
Yeah.
Like way back. That's where he hurt his foot, and then he aggravated it again in this matchup, which didn't see him practice for most of the week. He practiced today.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I think I hate to not blame him. And I don't want people to think we're afraid to do that in Buffalo because there's a caller at work the other day that insinuated that Jalen Hurts gets all this criticism, but Josh Allen gets none. Listen to local radio and watch a television program that'll tell you they're breaking it down big time that he was a big issue in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, off the soapbox now. And it's not me trying to not blame him, but it all, like you said, he's not comfortable. It's clear.
No, he's not. No.
And he doesn't trust his wide receiver room. He's starting to, maybe with Brandon Cooks and Shavers down the field, right? It's the most we really saw him throw downfield was that Eagles game. So maybe we're starting to see something there. But you can't trust more than one or two of your wide receivers. Khalil Shakir's been written off the plot entirely, pretty much, right? Like,
right.
I don't know. It's a weird year for the offense, and Josh Allen is like the one centerpiece that's kind of trying to hold everything together. But even at some point, I think, it collapses on you. And
Sure.
I don't know if we're starting to see the beginning of that where teams are just overloading and able to take advantage of him. But I don't know. What do you think? Like, is there only so much they're going to be able to do? And like Josh Allen before he kind of just implodes because it's just too much on him. Like, do you see that?
Yeah.
Or?
I think the most important thing down the stretch here, and I said this a few episodes back, Dalton Kincaid's got to stay healthy, man. He routinely gets open. Josh has the confidence in him, just to kind of throw a little hot route, gain 5 yards here and there, and then it sets up the deep play down the seam or the corner route from Kincaid. He needs to stay healthy, and the Bills are going to have a decision to make this offseason with the fifth-year option coming up. This guy's proven to be a difference maker on offense. I couldn't tell you his percentage of playing games, though. It's not good. This guy's out a lot. And it was the hamstring at first, and now it's the knee injury that's bothering him. He's had the brace on all season. You can see it when he's at practice and stuff like that. Having Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox both on the field opens up a lot together. It's almost like that was your original vision coming in this season. And I feel like the Bills were banking on that, but this guy can't stay on the field. He needs to stay healthy. And once he does, I think the offense can open up a lot more. Because you see it, Brandon Cooks is coming on. This guy's 32 years old? He got drafted over a decade ago, and he's your first 100-yard receiver in weeks.
Yeah, he
maybe
ran
months.
The 40-yard dash in 1895, right? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
And
he goes over 100 yards. Tyrell Shavers makes a hell of a grab. I don't know what it is with Tyrell Shavers that they decide not to target him that much. I'd really have to sit down and watch the film because if he's struggling to get open, he's struggling to get open. but that was a hell of a catch. That's not an ordinary catch. And like you said, conditions were not favorable there. He made a hell of a catch in snowy weather, contested catch, lost the guy. It was a great play, set the Bills up in scoring position. I wish we could see more of that. And it kind of looked like the deep attack presented itself a little bit this game, but there's only 12 points to show for it.
Yeah. And I think that's where, it was cool to see that, but realistically, is that just Philly's secondary being kind of meh in some areas, right? Like, you haven't been able to do that against many other teams this season. So, listen, I'm rooting for them to go to the Super Bowl. I'm rooting for them. I'm just basing myself in reality that this Bills team is probably the weakest that's trotted their way into the playoffs in the recent years, right? Like, they haven't really, like, 20.
And part of that is injuries. Part of that is injuries.
100%. 100%. Ed Oliver had a setback and had a knee repair, right?
I don't see him coming back.
Now he's definitely not, I don't think. And it's just been an injury-ridden season. Your defense is a revolving door, essentially. You were banking on Daquan Jones playing snaps at edge rusher for a while there. They did add
TJ Sanders played out of position for 3/4 of the season.
Exactly. So, and they've been able to, they're the only godfather of the AFC that's been able to remain in the playoff picture from years past. So, it's going to be interesting to see what they're able to do. We don't know who they're playing yet. And just looking at the Jets matchup for a second, because it's not real. We're not really expecting anything major here.
No.
This is kind of a win or lose. It doesn't really matter, and you're just going to go play who you're going to play because you're on the road no matter what now.
Yep.
But you saw Allen practicing today, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's playing a series.
He'll play. I think he plays a series because number
one,
one,
he's going to take the snap and run off, and I'm like, I just don't think so. Go ahead.
I don't think so. I think, well, first and foremost, they want to continue the streak of 40 touchdown seasons. I think Woody's got 4 in a row at this point, and he's at 39. So they want to get him one more. Obviously, there's a few things to watch this game. It's touchdown number 40 for Josh, and it's James Cook taking the rushing title. Those are the two things that I think Sean McDermott's going to be pretty adamant on achieving. Yeah. Also, just the start streak that Josh Allen has, he's going to get at least a series, right? He's going to start, and also a lot of this is money. They're wearing the red helmets for the first time since 2001, and you're not going to have your franchise quarterback take the field. Your best player in arguably franchise history is not going to wear the red helmet. No.
Well, even those the red helmets in 2001 had the navy blue, so they weren't even the real red helmet. So this is the first time since the Kelly era wrapped up and like those, the 90s era jerseys were before the navy blue happened that they're wearing them. So, it's interesting. I'm with you. I think he's going to at least play a series and get a touchdown. This Jets defense is so gettable. You're not really worried about anything.
Yep.
And you're already going to know, luckily, Jonathan Taylor will have played at 1 o'clock and the Bills playing at 4:25. You will already know how many yards James Cook needs to take the title, right? So you're going to utilize that in your favor, although Derrick Henry has come alive. So this could all get obliterated if he puts up another 200-yard game like he did last week. But I do think they're going to play some of the starters. And also chemistry-wise, like, they've been so off this season, like we said, with the injuries, and they started kind of showing a little passing attack chemistry last week. So maybe when Allen's in, you do see them kind of lean on the passing game a little bit more than they normally would and just try and figure, treat it as a preseason game, essentially. I feel like that's what they're going to do.
It's crazy to even say that because we're in week 18, and I still feel like the team has not figured out their best 3 receiving core.
Yeah.
Who are we rolling with going into the playoffs? We don't even know.
I think your best combination is Shavers, Cooks, and Shakir.
Probably.
For your 3. I would, if you could write Shakir back into the story, that would be great, right? Like, it's like he got snapped out of existence at this point, but and Kincaid out there. You need your tight end healthy. Like Kincaid, Knox, Hawes even in the passing attack has been locked down this year. Any of your tight ends with those 3 guys, I think that might be your best spot, and utilize your running backs in the passing game. So I think there's a few avenues they can go, but it'll be interesting to see what they do here on Sunday against the Jets. Normally we do like a prediction and breakdown, but it's week 18.
I'll give you a prediction. I think that Keon Coleman's going to be active, and they're going to try to get him the ball so they can make him look a little bit more appealing in the offseason before they deal him.
I love the sound of that. Might not be Josh Allen throwing him the ball at that point.
No, it might not be.
It's going to be a Mitch Trubisky game, so we'll see. But, yeah, the red helmets, just a moment on those, too. They look really good.
Ooh, it's sharp.
They're a different red. I
Yep.
have one behind me. They're a different red than the original.
They are.
They're very much more like a candy bright red.
Yeah, I described it as a more modern look.
Yeah. And you know what? I hate to be jumping on a campaign for this, but like, because I know people love the white helmet. I know they do. I think those need to be your starters. Like, just the contrast.
They're great. They are great.
It adds another little pop, right? Like, it's so pleasing to the eye just to see that. And, we've only ever seen them in replay footage and on old cameras. We've never really seen them, especially the real ones, not the ones with the navy blue stripe down the middle. We've never really seen them in action. So seeing them on the field with the red socks they're going to wear too, because they said in their post, not picture, they're going all out in the throwback uniforms. Those need to be a staple, I think. And I wouldn't mind if the red helmet was worn a couple more times.
I find it incredibly hard to believe that this is going to be the one and only time the Bills wear the red helmets. And I've maintained this thought since week one. They should have wore the helmets week one. They just should have. The final send-off season, it's week one. It's a home game or whatever the first home game was. Maybe it was week two. I can't remember. But that was the time to wear it, because now your franchise quarterback may not even play. We don't know. He probably will, but he's not going to play the whole game. I doubt it. He's not going to play the whole game in red helmets, and everybody wants to see Josh in the red helmet. So it's kind of like, well, I don't know. I thought you kind of had your opportunity there in week one or week two, whatever it was.
Could you imagine if they wore them against Baltimore in week one at home?
Woo, that was it. I'm telling you, that was it.
41-40 win in the red helmets. That would have been absolutely electric. If they do, I wish they would just wear them through the playoffs. Try channeling some energy, some vibes, Yeah. But,
I also kind of find it hard to believe that they'll never bring back the 90s jersey. You have to at some point. You know how platinum a 90s throwback Josh Allen jersey would go? It's like...
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. This season, having the rivalry uniform, they lost in it, sure. And you have the throwback with the AFC throwback, right? The AFL throwback, the old whites with the standing buffalo, and then the red helmet with the old color style kit with the red socks, white pants, and blue jersey. Like, I'm a big NFL fashion guy, if you will. I love seeing these different jerseys. Like even the Seahawks jerseys, those bright neon green ones, the rivalry uniforms. Like, just anything different is always so interesting. So, and a nostalgic thing like that, like the Sabres bringing back their black and red. That's what this is. The Bills' red helmet is the black and red for the Sabres. So continue to do it. Listen, if they win and look really good, I know it's the Jets in Week 18. Run them through the playoffs, man. Just do it at this point.
I wish they would.
Speaking of the playoffs, we're going to look at the playoff machine, because we can see here exactly what scenarios play out and what exactly will end up happening. So, Justin, we'll quickly do this because it's only 1 week, so it's not like it's going to take forever. The Texans are beating the Colts with Riley Leonard, right?
100%.
Okay, so we'll do that. They're pretty much in at the 5 seed, I want to say, unless the Chargers could jump them, which they might. No, that would be that. The Chargers are sitting Justin Herbert, so I assume the Broncos, but they're probably sitting all of their starters too, right?
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Or
that's a weird
maybe
one.
They're not, because I think New England and Jacksonville could have or New England especially could have a play. So if New England beats, the Broncos are going to have to play.
They'll play them.
Okay, so the Broncos win, and the Patriots beating the Dolphins, right?
Yep.
Bills beat the Jets. So does Jacksonville lose to the hot Titans? Because they've kind of been electric, and it's a divisional game. You never know. Anything can happen, but I don't know. I have the Jags beating the Titans.
Yeah, Jacksonville's been hot themselves, and they're home, so I'll take Jacksonville. Better team.
So then we'll say between Ravens and Steelers, who wins? This is interesting.
Lamar is playing. So
Lamar is playing after the hit piece was written about him. Did you see any of that?
Oh yeah, I saw it.
He's getting Kyler Murray called out for the video games. So I don't know. We're gonna have to see what happens there. I have them winning though. I think over Pittsburgh.
I think so too.
Tomlin will get his 9-8 season and miss the playoffs again. So, and a lot of rumor has it about him going into broadcasting. So we'll see if that happens. But this is how the playoff picture would play out. The Bills would be the 6th seed heading to Jacksonville in week 1 of the playoffs, the wild card. But here's the funny thing. I'm not saying to throw the game. I'm really not, because I'd like to see them beat the Jets in the red helmets. But if you were to lose, you have the opportunity to go assert dominance back in the AFC East. And here's the thing. I think I'm rooting for the Patriots to play the Bills, like host them. Because I think there's a lot of disdain here this season, right? It's back. Mike Vrabel crying about the refs, all that stuff. Kind of brought back that old hatred for the Patriots we didn't have until that happened, which was after both games.
The rivalry is live and well.
Right. And now we know why they picked them to wear the rivalry jersey against.
Yep.
Because, I mean, it makes sense. To have the opportunity, if you're the Bills, and this could go totally south if it goes the other way, but to have the opportunity to be the Kool-Aid man, bust through the wall, say, oh, yeah, daddy's home. Congratulations on winning the division. That was very cute, very awesome. It's still ours. We're going to advance past you. Congratulations, you got the hardest schedule in the division next year, your first place schedule. Congratulations, you gave us an easier schedule with the second place schedule, right? Like, everything would align to the point of me being ecstatic with this matchup. I don't know. And I would rue the day that they lose, and we would just have to hear nothing but Patriots fans on social media. But
the entire offseason.
What's your take? Do you like the Jacksonville matchup, or do you like the going into Foxborough and taking care of business and showing them what you're made of here?
I'm cool with either. It's weird. They're almost kind of like the same kind of threat, because Jacksonville has, Travis Etienne in the backfield. New England's got Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson back there, which we know the Bills have been historically terrible against the run. Those guys are both, 4.3 speed guys. They can take it's one play and they're gone. It could be. It really just depends who your defense feels more comfortable against, Trevor Lawrence or Drake May. You've seen the Patriots twice. You've seen the Jaguars none. So it's almost like, would you rather play the team that you've seen already, or would you rather bank against Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen's inexperience in the postseason?
Yeah. I think there's a case to be made for both, right? You see the Patriots a third time. You know what they've thrown at you twice, but they also know what you've thrown at them twice.
Yep.
They're not going to let you come back the way you did before. So you have to start that game on top, which is not what the Bills have been able to do this season. So that's a little worrisome for me. The one thing I do like about playing Jacksonville and winning, you then, if the Chargers go on a little bit of a run here, do have the opportunity to host a AFC championship.
Sure.
Right? So, hence the title, our current title card, the Highmark Stadium finale, most likely, that would be the scenario where that can happen, right?
Yeah.
You would have a true finale in the AFC championship, which could be electric.
That would
but
be
also,
awesome.
I do kind of like not having any stakes in the final game at the stadium, because it allows you to more so appreciate, right?
Yeah,
If they
absolutely.
lost the AFC championship to Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers, right? Knocking on wood that doesn't happen at Highmark Stadium. What is the you're not remembering the stadium. You're just pissed off that they lost the game. You know? So it's like there's pros and cons to each. I don't know. I'm with you though. I think there's similar matchups with that.
Yeah, they are.
So from there, let's say with the Patriots winning and the Bills winning, the Bills go on to play the Jags. If the Patriots win and Houston wins, which I think that probably would be the way it goes against Baltimore. Houston's defense is just too good. Houston would take on New England, and you would play Denver, who is pretty much the same team as they were last year, right? Like there's not very much variance there. And you let them get one touchdown early and then just completely collapse the house on top of them at that point. So I would be fine playing Denver, and I think they're a little fraudulent offensively. Some of these games they've played this season. I don't know about you. What do you make of the Broncos, I guess?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a mixed bag, right?
Yeah, I've been a Bo Nix guy kind of since he came into the league. He can really make every throw. Sometimes he's got a few boneheaded decisions in there, but that's why Sean Payton's there. Sean Payton's one of the greatest offensive minds in NFL history. And I think he's doing a lot of heavy lifting, leading Denver to 14-3, which, 2 years back, they had a top 10 pick where they took Bo Nix or pick 12, whatever it was something around there. But it's like, wow, this is a really great coach team, right? Denver has an elite pass rusher in Nick Bonito, right? And Zach Allen's in the interior. He's a great player. Look at all these teams in the AFC, playoff bracket right now. Jacksonville's got Josh Hines, Allen, and Trayvon Walker. Houston's got Danielle Hunter and why am I blanking on the name? Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson.
Will Anderson, yes.
Baltimore's pass rush is terrible, but Los Angeles has Tua Pelotu, and New England has Milton Williams, who's been injured. So it's kind of like whoever your play, you're going to have the best offensive line play you've had all year because they're game wreckers. The Bills don't have a game wrecker on the defensive line. You can argue that, Greg Rousseau's a good pass rusher, but I mean, he's kind of turning it on recently, which is nice to see. He's nowhere near as dominant as any of the guys I just named as far as rushing the passer. So it's kind of like good coaches, Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton. I like D'Amico Ryans. Liam Cohen might win Coach of the Year. Sean Payton might also win it. It's Mike Vrabel, Patriots. It's defense and it's coaching in the AFC. And, you have to bank on your playoff experience and Josh Allen turning into an alien, becoming another playoff riser, which, by the way, he's legitimately one of the best playoff risers in NFL history. So you kind of have to bank on that. And, it's weird because this is a good set of teams. They're constructed well. And I do worry about the Bills' potential to stop these elite pass rushers because if you can win with rushing 4 against the Bills, you've got a good chance.
Yeah, and you're right. Rushing 4 against the Bills. They're just not with their offensive line protection. They're not built for it. But I will say they're kind of fitting into the mold of the AFC playoff with their defense starting to come through.
Yeah,
so, you
absolutely.
do have a little bit of confidence there. So, say they beat the Broncos, right? Which I think that would be – I would be fine with that matchup, right? I think they easily could. And the – oh, man. Do you have the Texans beating the Patriots at that point, you think?
That's a slugfest. Holy cow.
Whoever wins that game's beating the crap out of the other team. They're going to just trade blow for blow.
I've been on the Houston train for a while. CJ Stroud's playing well enough to where that defense is just doing all the heavy lifting. He's kind of just like, the train conductor on offense. He's just getting it done. They've got an elite boundary weapon in Nico Collins. Their run game has come along. Their offensive line hasn't been as bad as once projected. I think they can beat anybody in this bracket. So I would probably take Houston. I'm not going to lie.
Well, cue the nightmare music because then the Bills are going to Houston for the AFC Championship where they haven't won since before the first Obama administration.
Yeah, I mean.
So that's a nightmare scenario, but you've seen them once, and I got to be honest with you. I'm sitting here thinking, sorry, I don't know. I might have an allergy or something up here because I'm starting to get itchy eyes. Maybe it's just the stadium going bye-bye that I'm getting emotional about. But I'm sitting here thinking I'm not that worried about playing Houston a second time, and I might be naive for saying something like that, but you've seen everything they're going to throw at you, and you were injured on the offensive front, right?
Yep, you were.
I know we've talked about how they haven't been that good anyway this year, right? But I look at this, and I'm just kind of like, C.J. Stroud's been playing worse than Davis Mills was.
Yeah.
That offense does not look as good as it did with Davis Mills. And if you can just get around their defense, the Bills only lost by 4, 23.
It was very reminiscent of the Eagles game. They were like the identical script.
Yeah. So you've seen that script twice. So if you find a way to flip it a little bit, maybe capitalize on one more opportunity, you win that game. That's a win. So it was the same thing with the Patriots. You lost that game 23-20. The second game didn't look great, but then you figured it out and got moving for it, right?
Yep.
I think you could see a similar game heading into Houston. And
historically, the Bills do very well. Sean McDermott and the Bills do very well when they match up with a team again that they've already lost to.
Yep. So that's kind of why I'm okay with it. So then we would have the Bills in the Super Bowl against I don't know. The NFC can go.
The NFC is a mixed bag, man.
Complete mixed bag. And I mean, we're not going to sit here and pick it because I think there's so many different ways that can go. It'll be more fun next week when we actually have the playoff picture for them, and then we can go through when it's solidified. But holy cow, there's a lot going on in the NFC. So it's going to be interesting to see who the Bills could possibly match up with in the Super Bowl or, what they end up doing in the playoffs. Because, I mean, we could sit here and talk about, I think they can beat them all they want. But if they come out flat, they come out like they did against Philadelphia, that's that.
Doesn't matter.
It's over. So it doesn't matter. We'll see what Bills team we get in the postseason. But for the first game of the new year and possibly the final time at Highmark Stadium, the Bills are taking on the Jets. It's going to be interesting. I'm ready for the Red Helmets. As we talked about, I'm excited for the matchup. And just a kind of a stress-free week and just kind of letting fate kind of handle your future from here, right?
Sure.
You're not really in control. You just got to take your hand off the wheel and let it go. But
Right.
Justin, anything else before we wrap up here?
Yeah, let's do one quick segment. Give me your favorite Highmark memory.
Oh, yes. Okay. This is a little personal. It's not like a game or anything like that.
Sure.
So
give me your favorite memory. It doesn't have to be the best game. Your favorite memory.
I was in middle school, right? And we did a Play 60 thing.
Sure.
I'm sure you've heard of that.
Yep.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
And we did a Play 60 thing. So we came up with a breakfast cart, and we got, like, picked by the Bills. So
Okay.
we got to go to practice with, like, CJ Spiller.
No way. That's cool.
Right? So it was really cool. And we ended up getting a bunch of Bills merch and being able to run out onto the field with them. Right? So it was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, I got to show you this because I have a photo.
Yeah, let me see.
This. So I got to high five Mario Williams, who was my favorite player at the time.
There you go.
So there I am in the middle
there
in that helmet as he's like
so
running
cool.
right there. So that's my personal Highmark.
That's
memory.
awesome. That's cool.
That one, yeah. So that one was cool. This one right here in the middle would be me. So
that's
cool.
Sweet. That's a pretty cool opportunity.
Yeah, it was the Bills-Browns game, so it sucked. But I mean, they took care of us pretty well and put us up in the, in a good spot to watch.
That's
but
sweet.
yeah, all for a breakfast cart at my middle school. So that's my favorite Highmark memory. That's what I remember. Even though the game after it stunk. What's yours? What do you have?
Yeah, I think 2015. Again, this isn't the best Highmark moment because there are plenty of them. There's the Taron Johnson pick six, which arguably could be the best moment in Highmark history. I'm not gonna lie. That place, and could you imagine if it wasn't a COVID year? Holy cow, the decibels in that stadium would have been nuts.
Yeah.
Anyways, my personal favorite memory, 2015. I turned 15 years old. It was the first game of the season, September 13th on my birthday. My parents surprised me with tickets to the Bills-Colts game. This is Tyrod Taylor's first start. We go in there. The Colts are Super Bowl favorites this year.
Oh.
We're trotting out Sammy Watkins, Percy Harvin, Shady McCoy. I think they had just traded for Shady McCoy, so this was his first game. Tyrod Taylor's first game. You're kind of on the back half of that elite defensive line with Mario Williams, Kyle Williams, Jerry Hughes, and Marcel Darius.
Yeah, it's when Rex Ryan switched the formation on him, and then they all stunk after. Yeah,
and that's probably my favorite memory. I was able to take one of my good friends. I just remember Tyrod Taylor uncorking the deep bomb to Percy Harvin down the sideline, and you're like, "Holy cow, the Bills are going to the Super Bowl!" I mean, this is a great team. But yeah, that's probably my favorite memory. I'll hold that to my heart forever.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, that's a good one. I actually played that at work today. We played that on the air.
Yeah.
Kind of looking back on stuff. Percy Harvin. What a name, what a call out there. That's a good one. I feel like that's a lot of people our age could probably say that. I feel like that's a highlight for them.
Yeah, that was a big one for me.
Yeah, drought era Bills. We grew up in it, so there's a lot of that. But an end of an era. It kind of hit me today a little bit as we wrap up here. It kind of hit me. I was like, a lot of these older callers were calling into the station and like giving, I used to go to games with my dad, my parents who aren't here anymore. I'm like, there's a lot of emotional attachment to the 100%. Stadium. And it's like starting to come to a head a little bit. It didn't affect me at all in the regular season. Like I wasn't thinking that way.
Right.
But now that it's like here, sure. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be a tearjerker by the end of this one.
It kind of will. It'll be interesting to see like the broadcast kind of lean into this aspect. This is gonna sound crazy, but like I genuinely believe a lot of Bills fans are gonna scatter ashes at Highmark Stadium.
That very well could be true. That 100%, I could see that happening. But
if you're not from Buffalo, you don't really grasp what the Bills mean to the city.
Mm-hmm.
It's more than you think. I'll say that. So I really think it's going to be a special moment. Hopefully the Bills can get it done in the red helmets. Hopefully James Cook can take the rushing record. Hopefully Josh Allen can get in there for one more touchdown. And we're going to roll into the playoffs with some momentum, hopefully.
Yes, and possibly the chance to host a playoff game depending on how things play out.
Sure.
So keep our breath held for that, but, we'll see what happens. But the Bills, final game of the regular season for the 2025-26 season. We're officially in 2026. Happy New Year to everybody listening, and hope everyone had a happy holiday, as now we're in the dog days of winter.
Yeah.
As things slow down big time, especially as the football season could come to an end here. So Luckily, the Sabres are doing well. We'll be able to follow them a little bit. 10-game heater.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Both teams looking up. The Bills heading into the postseason. It's going to be exciting. But, Justin, thanks as always. This has been another edition of the Buffalo Down Podcast. We'll talk to you next week.